What is going on, everybody? It's Friday, and that means it's time for my news radar. As always, before we jump in, if this is your first time on my channel, first off, thank you for joining me. And if you do enjoy this video, please do consider hitting like or subscribe. Let's get into things. So the biggest piece of news, unequivocally, without question, is that we do have a brand new Pixel phone. And no, it's not the Pixel 6, it is the Pixel 5a. And it's drawing a lot of controversy already, but we're going to get into that after I give you a quick overview of what exactly we're talking about. So the Pixel 5a 5G basically is the Pixel 4a 5G with a few very, very small changes. It's ever so slightly larger than that version, the Pixel 4a. But not a lot bigger, very, very slightly bigger. You're still getting a 60 hertz screen. You're getting a gigantic 4,700 milliamp hour battery, 4680 to be exact, which is going to, equate to insane battery life, which we will also talk about later. Snapdragon 765G, so it's the same processor as last time. You got the same 12 megapixel standard and 16 megapixel ultra wide camera as last time. You have the same hole punch selfie camera in the corner. It's just an updated version of the Pixel 4a 5G, basically, and we're getting this thing at $449. So it's a pretty solid deal in those terms. You're going to get a phone with a great battery life, with a great set of cameras, all the Pixel goodness. What is not to like about this device? Well, I'm going to tell you, and to tell you, I'm going to have to show you a bunch of stuff from Twitter. So you're going to see a bunch of tweets here from some fellow tech YouTubers. So if you enjoy these tweets, maybe check them out on Twitter, give them a follow, and check out their content because they're all great in their own right. Here is the first bit of problem. This is Trent's Tech, recorded for 4 minutes and 43 seconds at 4K 60 before the phone got too hot and gave a too hot warning, which you can see there. And this is not unheard of. Granted, if I took out my Z Fold and filmed at 4K 60, I could film indefinitely and have no problems. But you're thinking, well, this is a $450 phone. Maybe this is just a fluky thing. I don't know. Well, let's jump to the next tweet here. Tech Odyssey, Mr. Adam Matlock. 70 degrees inside his house, 4K 60, only a matter of minutes before the device got too hot and would not function as far as filming. Not looking so good. Adam then let it cool off for 20 minutes, took it outside in 90-degree heat, 2 minutes of filming at 4K 60, and she shut down again. Now, you may be thinking here, look, okay, you can't film 4K 60 for long periods of time. Is that really that big of a deal when you're talking about a $450 phone? Maybe, maybe not, but it's actually potentially worse than that, because Adam also then tweeted that he's having similar problems just taking pictures outside in a warm area. So something about this Pixel 5a just can't seem to handle using the camera for very long. Now, is this a software issue, something that can be patched later? That's entirely possible. Maybe Google has just set the thermal limit way too low in these devices, and maybe this can be fixed. It's also important to point out that this is somewhat anecdotal, because we do have tweets from someone like Brian McDuff here saying that he is not having this problem at all. 15 minutes of filming at 4K 60 and he's having no problems. So who knows really what the hell is going on here? We have people, that are reliable. I believe these people when they say these things. I believe Adam. I believe Trent's Tech. And there are other people on my Twitter timeline who I also believe. There's probably 5 or 6 people in following who I do trust having this issue. So not entirely sure what the hell is going on there. But however, when the camera is working, it looks great. Grant here has some pictures taken with his Pixel 5a. This is a great looking picture. This is your typical picture from a Pixel device, and the Pixel 5a, no exception here. This is taking fantastic pictures. I love the depth of field here. I love the detail. These are great photos, and that's what you can generally expect out of a Pixel device. We also have information here about the battery life. Android Digest here, who's another great YouTube channel you should go check out. He's dealing with 5 hours of screen on time with 46% battery left. That's what you get out of a Snapdragon 765 with a 4,700 milliamp hour battery. This thing's gonna last all day and then some. Absolutely nutty battery life out of the Pixel 5a. So there's a lot going on there. The Pixel 5a on paper looks like a pretty damn good deal and an easy recommendation to make for most people. However, Maybe wait until we know what the hell is going on with these overheating issues. Maybe this thing can get fixed through an update or something. Hold off for now, though. If I were you, that would be what I will be doing. So let's jump ship over here to the world of Samsung. There's something that's been a little bit annoying for a lot of Samsung users. On some of the, even the more expensive Samsung devices, there were ads in some of these stock apps on these Samsung devices, and that was extremely frustrating. Weather, pay, themes, they had little ads in them. That's a super crappy thing to see on a $1,000+ device. Well, we have good news about that because Samsung is removing ads from its stock apps later this year. They said, quote, "Our priority is to deliver innovative mobile experiences for our consumers based on their needs and wants. We value feedback from our users and continue our commitment to provide them with the best possible experience from our Galaxy products and services." This is going to happen later on this year. I mean, this is something that we've seen in cheaper phones like Xiaomi or Poco phones, things like that, budget phones. And I can kind of understand. You're paying, there's been phones that were like $200 and they should have been $500, and then there's ads in the actual OS. That's crappy, and I wouldn't buy it, but I get why it's there. But in a $1,000 phone, that's not something that you're going to want to see. Glad Samsung has woke up, realized how dumb that was, and is getting rid of it. Sticking with Samsung, here's something that has not been really talked about in regards to the Z Fold 3, but I think is pretty interesting. Apparently, the Z Fold 3 is using a newer, more power-efficient Super AMOLED display. And this is super important considering that the Z Fold 3 actually has a slightly smaller battery than the Z Fold 2, while also bumping up to the Snapdragon 888, as well as adding a 120Hz display to the cover display. So concerns about battery life seem to be warranted. However, reading this new Eco OLED panel is about 25% more power efficient than the one used in the Z Fold 2. And basically what's going on here is that light transmittance is about 33% better, which allows for much better efficiency with this new Eco OLED screen. Apparently, this is a tech that's been chased by a few different companies, but Samsung is the first one to get this right. And from early reports about the Z Fold 3, it seems as though the concerns about battery life may be overblown, and this probably has a lot to do with it. Z Fold 2 was not a battery champion, but it's well enough to get you through a full day, and it appears like the Z Fold 3, despite that smaller battery, despite that 120Hz refresh in the cover display, apparently is going to be just fine as well. And speaking of the Z Fold 3, I ran a poll on my YouTube channel which is where you are right now, where I essentially asked what you guys thought. I asked, did the full announcement of Z Fold 3 sway your mind away from Surface Duo 2? What will you be doing? And as you can see here in the results, you guys are not really swayed by the Z Fold 3. I was actually a little bit surprised. 21% of you guys did say you were going to buy the Z Fold 3. We're talking about 549 votes. It's a decent amount of people, but 38% of you were still looking forward to buying the Surface Duo 2. Granted, this poll is probably biased because most of my audience are Surface Duo people, but I still thought that was pretty interesting there. The Surface Duo 2 still holding on strong. And wrapping things up today with some Surface Duo news, we do have the Surface Duo August update, and I will talk about it briefly here, even though there's really not much to talk about, because as you can see in this image, maybe you can't, it is about 40 megabytes, because all this is the security update. There's no new features, there's nothing going on here. This is the same update as we got last month, sadly. Although it might be interesting to point out here that it was reported Android 11 will be coming to Surface Duo this summer, because the summer will end the day before my birthday, September the 22nd this year. So we've essentially got one more possible update before this headline is wrong, which either means that their intel was wrong or that something horrible has happened and it's had to be pushed back. Not a great look, but hey, maybe that means Android 11 coming next month. And if it does happen, someone cut this part of the video out when I said Android 11 coming next month, and then put it on the internet so that I look like I'm some sort of brilliant person who can see the future. I'm super curious still, though, to see what Android 11 will look like on Surface Duo, how much of a difference it will make. Of course, I have speculated in the past that perhaps they would launch Android 11 before Surface Duo 2 so we could test it out a bit before the new hardware launched, but that seems more and more unlikely to actually be happening. Now it seems as though, hell, maybe we'll get Surface Duo 2 out and then Android 11 will come like a month later or something, because Surface Duo may be totally forgotten about by then. Maybe Duo 2 will be so good that the 18% of you that said you're just keeping your Surface Duo 2 might be really disappointed. I hope I didn't just jinx 18% of 549 people. Oops, I'm sorry. Guys, that's all the news I do have for you today. Be sure to check back every Monday and Friday for the next news radar. Thank you for making it to the end of today's video, because it helps me out a ton. It makes my wallet ever so slightly heavier, so thank you for that. Stay tuned for the next bit of content. Until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.